Hi, this is Sylvia York again with my part two of my travels. I want to say to you something very difficult about leaving home for the first time. It's extremely exciting, but it's also very frightening. You're going from into the unknown and you don't know what's out there, but that the hair on the back of your neck says, go and do it. You won't be sorry. There used to be a train from the old terminal downtown in Cincinnati nonstop to New York City. And it took about 15 hours. But for someone as anxious and excited as I was, that trip seemed to take 2 weeks. I had not reserved a room or signed into the Juilliard School of Music yet where I was going, but I found the employment office and found a job the very first day. I got a room at the YWCA, then found my own tiny apartment in Manhattan. I'm skipping a little bit forward because there's so much to tell, and I want to get as much in as I possibly can. I was robbed shortly after that, twice. As a matter of fact, within 2 weeks, I became friends with a group of international students from school almost immediately, and we used to have parties once a week or once a month at different houses. Uh, we cooked the favorite dish of each country and put labels on the food describing what the dish was. Yummy. Some of the dishes I still cook today after many years, and others I don't cook anymore. New York is a city of adventure, and for a small towner like myself, it was hard to study and concentrate. But it all ended when I finished school and got the great opportunity to finally sail across the Atlantic Ocean to Europe. I was sick for 5 days. I was so seasick, I looked like a raccoon because the only place that I got any kind of pleasure and I felt good was on deck out in the sun in the fresh air. So with my sunglasses on, I looked like a raccoon. Around my eyes, there was the raccoon effect, and the rest of me was burned black. The students didn't have any money. They still don't have any money today, unless you come from a very wealthy family. But I didn't, so I had to pinch some pennies to travel to Europe, where I had a scholarship for the famous Mozarteum in Salzburg, Austria. I scratched together $334 to live on after the price of my passage on a student ship called Cabo San Vicente. If you ever hear of a ship like that, go the other way. That ship had no stabilizers, which made for a very turbulent, bumpy ride. I can't find anything more superlative than that to say how awful it was for 5 whole days across the Atlantic. We landed in France, in Le Havre. You've probably heard that. That's kind of like a shipping town. And from there, we took a train into Paris. I studied French at Juilliard, but that was for pronunciation purposes. For the songs that we sang, you couldn't really speak it, just pronounce it. I wanted to get back on the ship and go home. I couldn't understand a thing. I didn't understand what I said, what they said, nothing. It was a miserable time for me. And on top of that, they lost my luggage. I was expected in Austria in a few days, so I had to go on without my clothes. Since I arrived in the middle of the night, school was closed, and so I had to stay in a hotel. I met a very nice lady who spoke English, and I could understand at that point what was going on. So it was the beginning of wanting to stay in Europe instead of running off to where I could understand everything. My German was terrible at first. I didn't speak any. I don't care what you learn in school. It is different when you get in the land where you're going and start to speak. You will find, oh, it was terrible. And I was very eager, so in 2 months, I could speak very well. We have a saying that Zietzen and Dutzen. When you have an older person or your teacher or some professional person, if you want to address them, you use the formal phrase you, and that is Z. And the familiar one that you talk to your friends is du, and that's you. And I was learning German, so I called the professor du, and all the students, oh no, no, you can't say that to him. And he said, clicked on his desk, and he said, she's speaking German. I understand her, you understand her, so just let her talk. Okay, so after Austria, I went to Amsterdam, Netherlands. At that time, Netherlands was called Holland. I cannot imagine why they changed it. I just got used to Holland when now they say Netherlands. Oh well, it must be for a good cause. I got a good scholarship at the school in Netherlands, but then I had to learn Dutch too. And let me tell you, that was when you're ever bored and want to have yourself lifted up and laugh, I will tell you how to say summertime. Everybody knows that song from Porgy and Bess, Summertime, in Dutch. Maybe I'll tell you that now. It's really funny. So you say summertime and the word living is easy. Zomertijd, geen getoop en geen zorgen. That's enough. Germans call that a throat illness. The Dutch language was some kind of throat illness.